Rundown. Welcome to Rundown. It's a new segment that we just made up here on Markoutonline.
About 6 days ago.
6 days, yeah, right. And it's just going to be little things about wrestling.
Little tips.
Little tidbits. And the first one I have on my little
Glad you put that over.
handy dandy list, thank you very much, is Bobby Lashley. He did an interview, guys. And
For those of you who don't know, I just want to point this out. It's a very interesting tidbit to add to our tidbit segment.
yeah.
Bobby Lashley in OVW was known as Blaster Lashley.
Blaster Lashley.
But anyway, go ahead.
That's the kind of stuff that you only get here. You don't get that on the other shows.
Right here.
You get it right here at Blaster.
Because who in the internet world other than us, me, the Ohio Valley Wrestling expert, would know that?
I know, because I'll tell you what, it is impossible to Google like OVW results from like 04, 05. You can't even. They don't even have that on the internet. So we've just got it in this mind right here. This is they call the human brain the greatest computer, and this is one of them, because you can download stuff from it. So, and it's got a nice video card. So Bobby Lashley did an interview, and he said that he's interested in maybe doing a little mixed martial arts fighting,
A little MMA.
and he'd like to fight Brock Lesnar. I think he's built for it. I don't really know. I personally don't watch that stuff. I don't know. I think he'd probably be. This is why it's tidbits, because we just talked about it. So the next one is Murdoch. Trevor Murdoch.
'Cause I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away.
Thank you.
Low places.
I think that was a very good example of that segment, because it was very awkward, just like that, and it really didn't make any sense.
When does anything I do make sense?
That's true. So he sings now on Raw. I thought it was funny. So that was our tidbits. So you got any other tidbits? It is time for the main event of the evening, and I want to thank you all for waiting patiently. It is now time to discuss total nonstop action for the first time in the history of this program.
First time.
First time we talked about it in depth.
Yes.
And we've got a story for you folks. This Sunday on Sacrifice on pay-per-view television is going to be an event.
As opposed to pay-per-view radio, but go ahead.
Right, which they don't. Well, you actually could say that satellite radio is pay-per-view radio.
Except you're not viewing anything.
Yeah, well,
Pay-per-listen radio.
Pay-per-listen radio, so whatever. You're using your senses, and that's good that you got them. So we're going to have a Sacrifice pay-per-view, the knockout makeover match. What's that? I'll tell you what it is. It's an over-the-top rope battle royal with 8 knockouts or so, give or take a couple.
10 or 12.
10 or 12. And then when there's 2 of them left, they're going to have a ladder match. The winner gets to wrestle the Amazing Kong in a women's title match at an upcoming to-be-determined date.
TBA.
And the loser
TBD.
gets their head shaved bald.
Aw, shit.
Unless it's Gail Kim.
Unless it's Gail Kim, because
she had a stip. We don't know. We do know, but
she's too hot to shave her head.
Right, so not
Let's
shaving her
just
head.
Be honest about it.
So, I think that that's pretty neat. I think that their women's wrestling is probably the best thing, and they'll admit that they have going. Obviously, say I think that is where, if there's an area where maybe they are better than the WWE, it's in what they let the women do over there. I don't have any doubt that the WWE divas, they could do that same stuff. I just don't think that they get the opportunity like they let them over. No. And that's just it's a different emphasis that, it's more the beauty and stuff maybe on WWE, and maybe not as much wrestling, though. That to me is where the TNA is better. The product is better because they let the women go in there and they'll put on the best match of the night, and they'll draw the highest ratings on the show.
Yeah, I think that in retrospect, they do sometimes have the opportunity to outshine the rest of the show, where WWE doesn't allow that. They just don't. And as they have wrestlers like Mickie James and Victoria and
Beth Phoenix.
Beth Phoenix, who are just amazing wrestlers, they don't really get to talent that or showcase that talent is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
As much on their show like TNA does. And TNA, you know, they probably really only have 3 or 4, you know, really, really amazing wrestlers like WWE does, but they get to kind of showcase that more often and really show what they can do.
Yeah. So I think this match is going to be interesting to see what they can pull.
What's going to happen? Who's going to get their head shaved?
That really is what I want to know. I would guess, because I'm going to give a prediction. I'm going to predict ODB. I think that if any of them, if it were to go with
former Ohio Valley Wrestling women's champion ODB.
That's right. I think if it would really fit any of them. I want to see if I can interview from the TV.
Tim, get over here and sit down.
Why can't I interview from the TV?
Because you're a little kid, and I don't want you interviewing from the TV because you're a little kid.
Did you just fuss at me?
Yes. Edition of Markoutonline. It's Eric Hall here and Timothy Stone. And we are live with none other than the YouTube phenom known as Sandii from the Sandii and Kandii Show. How are you doing today, Sandii?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, we're doing pretty good.
Great.
We're burning the midnight oil here at the
right.
corporate headquarters of markoutonline.com in Louisville, Kentucky. And we're pretty excited.
Yeah, we're very excited.
What's going on with you this evening, Sandii?
Just sitting here, you know, hanging out with friends.
That's all?
Drinking some wine, you know.
Drinking some wine. Uh-oh, that sounds exciting. That's good. Tell us what's going on with the Sandii and Kandii Show.
Well, Sandii and Kandii Show is pretty new. About a couple of weeks. We've had a couple episodes, and now we've had a couple interviews with Bridget McManus and a couple of good ones coming up that haven't been aired yet. But it's pretty new. We're trying to get a feel for it because we're not sure what people like, and we kind of want to be ourselves, but we want to show things that people like too. So we're trying to kind of just feel it out. But it's been going good. We've got some good response from it. So it's been fun, even if people don't like us.
So what kind of interviews do you have coming up?
Let's break the news here. This is a huge venue for you to break the news, to make the big announcement.
Oh yeah, the big announcement.
Yes.
Well, we've kind of got people that are not as big as you would see on TV or whatever, but are big, on YouTube. Like we've got What the Buck, if you know Michael Buckley, he's got his show What the Buck, and we're gonna actually have him physically on our show, and he's gonna be with us physically, and we're kind of excited about it because
that's exciting.
Awesome. And he's so funny. He's he's hilarious. He's gay and he's hilarious, and we're gonna have him. And then we're gonna have the ukulele, if you know who she is. She's this funny girl who's friends with Bridget McManus, who I friggin' love. Bridget McManus. She's awesome.
You do love Bridget McManus.
What?
Well, there's a big rumor going around the internet that I want to ask you about, and this might be a shock to you. I don't know if you've read it, but I read it on several websites. I've read that Sandii from the Sandii and Kandii Show, which would be you, has a very strong attraction towards Eric Hall from markoutonline.com. Would you like to talk about that?
Sure, I'd love to talk about that. Well, me and Eric Hall go way back. We're good friends, and I was there with him when he was with his girlfriend and all that fun stuff, and we share common friends. And yeah, maybe you could say I have a little attraction to him. I mean, what's not to like? I mean, you're awesome. You're funny. You're good to talk to. All that good stuff. And I'm sure you know that.
Well, that's good to know. So we want you to check out the Sandii and Kandii Show on YouTube. You can just type Sandii and Kandii Show in when you search on YouTube, and I'm sure it'll pop up. You can check out those amazing interviews with Bridget McManus, with Charissa, and all of those amazing YouTube stars coming up with other celebrities, possibly wrestlers. And don't forget to check out markoutonline.com.